Good Rising, Big City 101.3 FM, waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. We are in the building with Julia Mejia, and today we are talking about schools we deserve. I know, we're on TV.
Oh.
We're on YouTube. Oh, I'm about to move the computer in a moment.
Oh, don't put me on it, please.
Yes, you're about to be on it.
Come on.
Big City 101.3 FM, waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Julia Mejia, she's been on air with us a few times already this Rising. We're going to go ahead and speak to, I want to call her an expert because to me she is when it comes to this education, when it comes to this charter school conversation, when it comes to equal rights for all parents across the board. You know, I'm sorry. I just playing music in your ear and talking at the same time. But it's really important for us to have these conversations. And I feel like sometimes these conversations are completely dominated by those that are don't have our children's best interests at heart, but better yet, have the interest of selves in their pocket. 78% of the $1,315,500,000 budget at heart. Good Rising, Julia Mejia. Talk to us, baby.
So first of all, I didn't know that when you came to the Tayla Andre show, you had to be camera ready. Because she's like, oh, we're going to be...
Hold on. I have sweatpants on, boo.
No, I'm sorry, boo-boo. I'm sorry. I didn't even put on my whole face. So you will not be recording me today. I'm going to give you my back. Because YouTube, you can just like
Lord. Oh, she's gorgeous, though. Don't let her... No, don't do that.
And that's not even my good side. Oh, no. T. Oh, no. Sorry. There will be none of that today.
Fine.
Fine. Put that on your face.
Fine.
Okay.
You won't be on TV then.
See how people try to put you on TV and you're not ready for that? Early in the morning.
You know we be on YouTube. Don't do me like that.
I have like my mascara on, looking all, and I got my Vicks though. Y'all can see that. I'm Dominican, and Dominicans travel with Vicks, and I'm sick. So you will not be putting me on YouTube today. Sorry, people.
They can still hear you though.
Okay.
Well, at least do that. You can still hear her.
Exactly. Sorry. Next time I'll be ready for y'all.
Okay. All right.
But good morning. Yes, it's Julia Mejia, and I'm so proud of you. You got my name.
Yes.
The correct spelling, the correct
pronunciation. We're doing good things. We're good. We're learning a little something.
That's what I like. Progress. Progress is really important. So, yes.
For those that don't know, I absolutely love this woman. You are my mentor. You know that, right?
Yeah. You know what? You did tweet about that.
I did.
Tweeting all over the place. But you're my inspiration. I am not your mentor.
You are my mentor.
Oh, be quiet. That is too much of a big title for me. Seriously. I won't claim that. But you know what? You're full of wisdom.
Thank you.
You know what I am? I'm your muse.
Yes.
What I do is I inspire thought and I provoke action in you. And so I think that's very different than being your mentor.
Fine. I accept.
Okay. I'm your muse.
With that being said, let's have so there's a showcase coming up.
Yes, there is. The 16th annual Charter Public School Showcase.
16th annual?
Yes.
Has it been that long?
Well, yeah, the first Charter Public School opened almost 20 years ago, actually. We just had our 20th anniversary. And this is our 16th annual showcase in Boston, which is an opportunity for parents to learn about all the different charter schools that are in the Boston area, because every charter school is uniquely different, and it's important for parents to learn about all the different options that they have. So the showcase is an opportunity to learn and also fill out enrollment forms on the spot to enter it into the lottery.
So the applications.
Yeah. Well, they're not applications because they're not like 300 pages. It's just really basically it's just an enrollment form so that you can enter into the lottery. And the lottery is in March. So the showcase is from 9 to 12 at Watson Auditorium and Wentworth Institute, and that's 550 Huntington Ave. And I'll say this a few times throughout today's hour.
What about parking?
There's parking adjacent to the showcase, so it's free parking, and it's by Ruggles Station, so you can also take the train in. Okay. And there's also on-street parking. I always do the on-street parking. I find it easier than the parking lot. But it's T accessible, and there's parking on street, and there's also free parking adjacent to the events. And so it's an opportunity for families to learn and enter into the lottery. But more importantly, I always see this as an opportunity to learn about the different types of schools. So we have schools who strictly focus on academics and college prep. We have schools that focus on the social and emotional learning. We have schools that focus on music, schools that focus on theater, schools that focus on serving special populations like families who are homeless or court involved. So we have a nice variety of schools, and so it's an opportunity for you to see which school your child will have a better fit in. Like I know for my daughter, she thrives in a space where there's a lot of rigor and high expectations, and she likes that. And then there are some students who do better in a play-based emotional learning, crunchy granola, let's see how you feel today.
What school is that? Crunchy.
Well, I call it the crunchy granola, but Codman Academy is more of the solid social emotional based kind of learning where they have a big emphasis on trauma and educating and reaching youth who have experienced high trauma. Conservatory Lab has a high curriculum that focuses on social and emotional. And Boston Renaissance focuses on Mandarin, and they teach kids from kindergarten on the Mandarin. And APR also focuses on Mandarin. So every school is uniquely different, and that's your opportunity to learn about all the schools that we have to offer. The most important thing that people need to know is that charter schools are public schools, so they're free. So you don't have to pay out of your pocket.
They're not free. They steal my baby's public school money.
Yeah, that's what they say. But that really bothers me when I hear people say that, because it seems as though like we're some handout, some welfare cheese that we're taking, or that we're taking the money and educating kids in Taiwan. But in actuality, we're educating our own children that live in this neighborhood. So I don't know how we're taking money, because the money's being utilized in just different ways. So it's not like we're taking money. That makes me sound like I'm a thief. I have a hard time with that, because I'm not welfare cheese. I'm sorry. I have the right to choose what type of education my daughter wants to have. And it's not to say that I'm taking away from somebody else. I'm just creating an opportunity that I didn't see, or I've been waitlisted from some of my top BPS schools. And the reality is that unless you live in certain neighborhoods, your chances of getting into your top BPS schools are really slim to none, because if you live a hair away from some of these more affluent schools, you're not getting in, right? And so
walk me through this, because I don't think I understand.
Okay, so I'll give you I can only speak from my own personal experience. That's one thing that I'm really good at. So I applied for the Henderson, which is an inclusion school.
Inclusion meaning what?
Meaning that they serve special needs students within the classroom, and everything that they do is really, they don't put the kids in separate rooms. Like you know how in certain schools, if you're a sped,
you go in the room with four other kids, and that's your whole classroom for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life, yeah. Like that's the little prison's pipeline. Yeah. So that is one of the top tier 1 schools in my zone. However, because it's not, I could technically, I might be able to take a bus to get there. It's not like a walking priority school for me. So that means that families who live within the immediate area have a more likelihood chance to get in.
Where is the Henderson?
On Dorchester Ave, near Ashmont, the lighter side of the town. And then the Murphy is another school that I also applied and was waitlisted for Annalise. And so what happens is that families who do their research and find schools that are more to what they're looking for, those schools are highly sought out after. So you end up on waiting lists for your top tier 1 schools. And unless you are savvy and know how to choose schools so that you can actually get in, or whatever, you pray and light candles and talk to Adios and everybody else.
Listen, don't say hand knock the hospital.
So once you do all of those things, you end up on waiting lists for your top tier schools. And families who live in certain neighborhoods where there are a lot of considered quote unquote low performing schools, those schools you get priced out of certain neighborhoods, or your other options are to work 3 or 4 jobs to send your child to private school, or you go into MECO, or you do homeschooling, or you fight for all of your rights, which is what we need to start doing in our district schools. This is the problem. This is where I'm going to get a little bit militant. But our district schools aren't bad. The problem is that our parents are recognizing how important they are in fighting for the resources that they need in their district schools.
So I want to go back to the budget where less than 1%, $8 million of the budget is spent on your children's supplies. So I want to remember that number, and it's low 8 million. I believe it's like a 8,300,000. So it's a low 8 million out of $1,315,500,000. 8 million actually goes into supplies for 56,000 children.
Right. And so I'm not an expert in the budget like you, because I know you'd be doing your research, but I'm not that much of a whiz when it comes to the numbers. But what I do know from a social justice standpoint is that when you have money being allocated as somebody deems necessary, what you do is you disregard students, you disregard families. And so what needs to happen is that families need to start rising up and saying, you know what, let's look at that budget, and here's how we want it to be spent, and taking into account that there are certain neighborhoods that have a higher need, and those and the neighborhoods like the ones that we live in, those are the neighborhoods that we need to demand more resources into those neighborhoods to ensure that our kids are getting.
Julia Mejia, we need to demand a new building. Those babies about to be Flint, Michigan with all the lead in the pipes.
See, and what do you think that says to our children in terms of how much we value them and what their worth is? And when you have parents who are screaming, hooting and hollering about their demands and their needs and their wants, but they have two incomes, they're living in a very different type of environment. What does that say to our babies?
They were outside last night at the mayor's State of the City address.
Right. So I don't know if you know this, but every year I understand that the BPS budget increases.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand where the money is. I feel like we got to do like a show me the money.
I already told you where the money is. 78% of it is in the pocket of adults.
So what do you think that says to our kids, right? So I'm not here to see, here's what I need to say before we get into the whole conversation.
Listen, you're not here as a representative of anybody else but Julia Mejia, and I need parents to understand exactly.
So, I hear you. But here's what I would like to say is that we have reached a point.
She's trying to be nice, y'all. She's over here trying to be nice.
We have to be quiet. You know, I got this headphones. I can still hear you. She's talking to YouTube, y'all. She's cheating on me, radio folks. But what we need to recognize is that at the end of the day, these are our schools, right? And they have spent a lot of time and energy in trying to divide and conquer, the Willie Lynch type of situations where the mentality is rule and divide. And so what happens when you have district parents and charter parents fighting against the same little pot of money, the conversation gets lost. Mm-hmm. So what we need to start doing is recognizing that these are our dollars, these are our children, and what we need to start doing is working and fighting collectively towards making sure that we increase that pool of money and that we give parents an option to choose the type of education environment that is best suited for their child. And not to say that the district schools aren't great. There are a lot of great district schools, but I believe that our district schools in all parts of our neighborhoods need to be better, and that conversation needs to be revamped to address the real inequities that exist in our
we had a call on the line. I just want to reach out to the caller. Give us a call back. I was going to pull you up, baby. 617-282-0062. This rising, we are having discussions with Julia Mejia. We're talking about district schools. We're talking about charter schools. We're talking about the showcase that is this Saturday if you want to apply for charter schools. And when we're trying, what I would love for Julia to do today is to enrage you enough, to get you mad enough, to get you angry enough to care about the school your child goes to. I don't care what school your child goes to, but for you to be a more active parent, period. So we have two callers on the line. First caller, good rising, you're live.
Hi, good morning, Tayla. My name is Tony. I was thinking about this earlier today because as I was driving to work, I had something bothering me today because I'm gonna be attending a board meeting. I just don't want to say the name of his school. My son goes to a charter school as well. He's 5 years old, and I was debating this year on whether or not I'm gonna be trying to send him to another school. I have a lot of problems. One of them is I'm on the parent council as well, and me being a busy mom, I'm not a single mom, but I am a hardworking mom. I'm a bricklayer. I'm always working. I'm always busy, always volunteering, and I find myself going to these parent-teacher conferences and family council meetings, and there's about 3 parents at each meeting, and I made myself available, whereas last week I put my email up so that all the parents can hit me up and just say their concerns and the major things they think is wrong with the school, so we can try to get the school better. And I'll have about 1 million parents hit me up with problems, but no one ever has a solution. No one ever tries to do anything. No one ever tries to stand up. I just feel like in our community sometimes, this is why we try to make things like charter schools, and I went to MECO, these are why we try to do these things, because our parents in our community, and I'm not going to say all of them because I'm one of them who try to do better and make sure that my son gets a great education, but it shouldn't be that we have to send our kids far or make up these schools to have good education for our kids. But I feel like too, it's the lack of parents that are involved in their kids' lives in school. I know that people love their children, and that I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I just feel like being involved in your kids' education is such a big deal. It determines everything that your kid will go through later on in life. And I'm glad I'm listening to this morning, because when I go to the board meeting, I guess I'll walk in with a better attitude, because I was coming in a different mindset, because I'm kind of annoyed at how I have to make myself more available and, fight for rights of kids on school buses and things, and my kid doesn't even ride a school bus. And I can't even get the kids' parents who actually do ride a school bus to attend the meeting, even if it's once a year.
Yes, baby. Yes. I love it.
I know. And you know what? I have to say before we go any further that there are different types of charter public schools. There's Up Academy, which is an in-district charter school, and then there are Commonwealth charter schools, and then there are pilot schools, there are exam schools, there are innovation schools. There are all these different types of schools, and there are all these different types of parents. But what we need to recognize, and I'm so glad that you called, because it's energy like yours that needs to be out there igniting passion and fire, because what we fail to realize, especially a lot of parents, when you grow up dealing with big systems and institutions and dealing with, DOR, DCF, DTT, DTA, all of these acronyms, what happens is that the way they treat and speak to people is sometimes really demeaning. And so what happens is that when we deal with systems like that, we begin to feel like we either don't want to rock the boat, we don't want any problems. But at the end of the day, if we don't speak up and we don't start claiming our voice and start knocking down doors and realizing that at the end of the day, these are our tax dollars, that these are the things that we want and demand for our children, just the same way families do it in Brookline, just the same way people do it in JP. These people get highly organized, but there are more of us that make up. Right now, we are the majority. And if the majority starts to rise up and start to speak up, things will change. But if we keep letting you have it to speak on behalf of everybody else, then we're never going to make things. We need to start helping, not shaming parents for not speaking up, but we need to start holding them accountable for not speaking up. And I think that there's a difference between both, because we have to also realize that our parents are juggling 2 or 3 jobs. A lot of our parents are single. So we need to take all of those things to account. But you can send an aunt, you can send an uncle, you can send a cousin, you can send a neighbor, you can send a grandmother, you can send someone to let those people know in that school that that child has an advocate, that that child has someone who who cares about them enough to come up and speak up. And that's what we need to start recognizing, that at the end of the day, these are our schools, whether there's a district or a charter, that there are schools, and we need to be actively involved, because that's how they make decisions that impact us. But yet we act like it's like you said, people want to come in after the fact and want to complain, but they don't have solutions. Come to the table with, what do you want? Because when you could do that, then you own the conversation, instead of allowing people to dominate and dictate what it is that we need and want. You know, I'm sorry, I got a little.
I love it.
And you recording me? Oh, I hate you. And I got Vicks on. Oh my God, guys, she's recording me and I got a mouthful of Vicks. Oh my God.
It's okay, Julia. It's okay. I want to give a shout out to the parent.
What'd she say? She was.
Oh no, I'm sorry. My name is Tommy. I do. You know, I do understand fully about people juggling jobs and everything. You know, that's why I try to make myself available. I know he puts me in the position that he does because he knows that I can handle it. However, you know, I know also that I fulfill my duty, and I just feel like I went to Marblehead and all the time, rest in peace, man, you know, but I remember he said to me one day, oh, we need to try to get you in Boston Public Schools, because I graduated from Marblehead High. And I understood what he was saying. However, at the time, I was offended. Like, no, I don't want to go to Boston Public Schools, because I felt like Boston Public Schools were so bad. But then now that I have my son, and I'm busy too, like all the time I say to my friends, oh, I wish I had my kid when I was 32 or older. I'm 27 now. I had him at 22. But I feel like not because I party or do anything that my son can't do, but I feel like I need to dedicate all my time to my son. It's so hard now because there's not a lot of stay-at-home moms and, you know, like time, so much time to I have to make time all the time to read to my child, to do these things. So, you know, I try to make it so that whatever school he goes to, they give him everything that he needs, because when he gets home, it's so hard after me doing everything, after me attending a board meeting, getting home late, feeding my child. It's so hard for me to spend time with my son on these things, you know. So it's important that we get these schools this way. And I also feel like I wanted to have my kids be a part of this community, because it shouldn't be that I have to send my son miles away or spend $30,000 for my kids to get an education when he can be a good kid in our community. Like our community can raise good children, and he's a boy, and I worry about my son all the time and everything that's happening in our community. And I just wish that, you know, as parents, we fight for our kids the way that we should, because when our kids get older or get past 5th grade, you know, that's when our kids are in danger of the things that go on in our society, and we're not blind to it, you know. So I do hear what you're saying, and I'm not bashing any mom who has to work 3 jobs or do it all by herself, because I totally understand that. But all the time, I didn't go to sleep till 1 o'clock this morning, and I have to be to work early. I get up at 4, drive my kid to Boston, do everything I got to do, because I know that he's my son, and I had him, you know.
Yeah,
Go ahead. You're good.
No, I was gonna say, I'm gonna at the end of the show, I'm gonna give out my contact info, and I know Tayla puts this on Mixcloud or something, and it goes up, and I'm gonna have all of my contact there. I created a whole new statewide parent leadership network that is specifically geared towards creating a space for parents, district and charter, to talk about their needs and wants, and to push for some real serious education reform. And you're the type of parent who can help us mobilize and spread that, you know, the word.
And I love it. We got good food. We have good people. We have good times. I love being a part of the network.
Yeah.
So thank you, baby. I love and appreciate you. We have another caller on the line, 617-282-0062. And I also want to thank the caller that is currently on hold. Thank you for your patience. Good rising, caller. You're live.
This morning.
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just stuck in traffic, but I wanted to call and say a few things. I wanted to shout out the lady that just called, the bricklayer, because I love to see more women in the trades. And also, you guys talking about organizing. You know, I think Julia made a critical point about not dividing public against charter, which is really not the conversation, and directing the conversation back to quality. And I want to agree that I think the key is organizing.
Is this Carlos?
It is tough to get parents engaged in that busy as they
Hi,
are.
Carlos.
But I think organizing and mobilizing is the only thing that we're going to do to be able to tackle these issues. The challenge I see also is how we pressure adults, and not just parents. There's a lot of adults, a lot of professionals in the system that have information that they either don't share. You talk about 78% of money going to adults in the school system and not instead of the classrooms. At what point do we have to talk about the mayor negotiating a teacher's contract and making sure that these costs don't go up every year? What our priorities are in the city. And I would really like to, I'm going to throw out a suggestion that my father told me a long time ago. It's about time that the parents have a union. Just to do some quick math for you, think about organizing on a level. If you had 50,000 parents out of the 58,000 students' parents, and everybody just put in $1 a month, you'd raise $50,000 a month, and you'd have $50,000 voters. 50,000 voters that live in the Boston area. You'd be the most powerful union in the city of Boston, much bigger than the teachers union, much bigger than the police, firefighters, and policy would move a lot faster.
Oh my God.
I want to give a huge shout out to Carlos Enriquez.
I could tell that. Oh my God. Can I just tell you, I love you.
I love you.
But you know what? That is the sort of stuff that we need to do. That's a great idea, because what happens is that we put the power in the people.
Yeah.
And there are more parents than there are unions. There are more parents than there are elected officials. There are more parents out here who are deeply impacted by all of these things that we're talking about today, who can benefit from being part of a union that will definitely rise up. I think that there's some people out there who are afraid of the power of our people. And there goes her whatever putting me on YouTube. But I have to say that at the end of the day, if we don't claim and hijack this conversation, we're going to get whatever they give us. And there are so many systems at play right now, and everybody's on their opposite end trying to monkey hustle us and pimp us out and all of this stuff.
Pimp the butterfly.
But at the end of the day, people need to recognize that these are our schools,
our tax dollars,
and we can exactly. And so once we realize how powerful we are, that's when we're really going to challenge systems. But if we keep just lollygagging and then we get ready, like you said, Tayla, you can get ready to go out to the club, but you can't go to a PTA. Not shaming parents, but at the end of the day.
But I threw that suggestion out. Maybe we need to have these PTA meetings at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night.
At Daryl's?
Turn up. Hey.
You know what? Listen, for me, this work is every day. I talk about this at Dunkin' Donuts, at Stop and Shop, at baby showers.
They don't pay us, baby. They don't pay us.
But you know what? The price that we pay, it's not like we get paid to do this work. Well, I work in advocacy, so I'm different, but you don't get paid, and none of the parents that work with us get paid. But you know what? The reward is making sure that our kids get justice and that our kids get the type of education that they deserve, whether it's district or charter. For me, I will always say I'm not about one or the other. I'm not anti-district. I'm not all the way pro-charter. I'm deeply happy in the middle and trying to find a common ground that puts our people and our children first.
Carlos, can you do something for me? Could you please repeat what your daddy told you?
So it really goes back to organizing and mobilizing. And so if you imagine 58,000 students in the Boston public school system, and let's say, just for numbers' sake, we round out that each one only has one parent, and there's 50,000 parents. If you collected $1 union due from each parent a month, just $1, you would have a union that has 50,000 members, and you would draw $50,000 per month in union dues, which is enough to lobby any politician, which is enough to set up infrastructure to organize and mobilize, so you can inform parents. So not every parent does have to come to the meeting. You can then get information to them. So I'm volunteering. It is a large undertaking, but I'd like to keep my father's idea going. So anyone that's looking for help doing it or wants to help doing it, I would love to be a part of that. And I actually really want to applaud you two ladies in the previous call that called, because the challenge with advocacy is we do have to advocate for those that can't. We do have to be the voice for those that can't. And it's not only about our own children, me not even having any, but my thought is that if you educate your own child and leave the child next door with a poor education, that child is going to grow up with your child, and they're going to impact each other one way or another. So it's really, it gets bigger than your own. I mean, I know at the end of the day, a parent wants their own, child to succeed. But if the child next door on both sides of your house is not succeeding, they're going to impact your child. So we have to look at that as a community push. And for an action item, there are actually two bills. When it comes down to the fake charter versus VPS beef, which there really isn't a beef, Senator Sal DiDomenico has a bill that would begin to balance out the funding structure, which is really the problem from charter schools, not the schools themselves. And so does Senator Brownsberger. So they both have two bills that are being heard right now. That
The governor is
coming
coming out, yeah.
And if you don't have time to read about it or hear about it, you should call your state rep or your state senator and ask them to tell you about the bill and where they are on the bill, so that they're not off the hook either.
Thank you so much, Carlos. I can't tell you how much I love and appreciate you, and I thank God that you're stuck in traffic, because otherwise you'd be at work and we would not have you on air right now. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Wow.
Wow.
Carlos Enriquez. This is why I'm saying this man need to be back in the house. This is why he needs to be back in the house. They went ahead and kicked him out and threw him in the field. That man need to be back in the house, because he was changing the game.
He was, and that's what they were afraid of. But could I just tell you that I love the idea of having a parent union?
Yes.
I mean, we're about to ladies and gentlemen out there, because dads are really
The dad showed up for the meet your kid at school, the first day of school. The dads really showed out.
So this goes back to the point that Carlos was making in terms of us advocating for our children. It's not just our own. It's not that whole no child left behind. That means no child in any neighborhood needs to get left behind, because the social injustices that we see based on your zip code determines your child's education, your health outcomes, everything. And what we need to do is do away with that. Do away with all of the racist and classist systems that are trying to keep our people in line.
Poverty.
And we need to rise up and claim our voice in this conversation, because if we don't, the situation is going to be an afterthought, and it'll be too late for you to have any say in this. So we are about to make some moves, Tayla. Well, we've been making moves.
Yeah, we've been making moves.
But we're at a very pivotal point, because when it comes to the advocacy work in terms of the education reform, there are very powerful systems at play that are keeping us in with the divide and conquer situation. There are some folks who just believe charter schools are the end all and be all, and that's all we need. And then there are folks who want to shut charter schools down, and they believe that, the teachers union and all these other folks believe that the charter schools should need to go away. But the reality is that we need each other, because there are a lot of amazing things happening in our charter schools. And if we could start looking at some of those best practices and implementing them and fighting for the tools that our district schools need so that they can implement them, and have our parents demand those. Like, let me just tell you, for me, it's not about test scores. A lot of parents who choose charter public schools, some of it is just because of the longer school days. Parents who are working and can't afford before or after school care, a charter public schools looks really attractive to them, because they don't have to come out of pocket. Number two is free intense tutoring to make sure that your kids are reading at grade level. They go to
Can we stop calling these baby goats? Can we please call them children?
They go to great extents to ensure that students are well educated and prepared, right? And so there are a lot of autonomies and flexibilities that charter public schools have that district schools need to have too. And what needs to happen is that they need to put a price tag on what that looks like, and then go after that money to make sure that district schools are also functioning just as great as charter public schools, so that we can stop having this divisive conversation. But I'm going to tell you one thing, and not to make this about race, but I will say that in this year alone, close to 100 charter public school students entered into exam schools. Those seats that our little Black and brown children took up in Boston Latin or Boston Latin Academy in particular, we didn't even go into the number. And Jay,
Boston Latin is 47% Caucasian.
And half of those kids didn't either go through BPS, they either went to private school, right? or paid buku dollars to be able to pass that exam. Meanwhile, our little black and brown children were able to pass that exam just by being at a charter public school. So what happens is that we're leveling the playing field. And what we need to do is make that across the board.
What we need to do is have some more damn great high schools. Why we only have 3 in the whole city?
But wait, why do you have to audition to get into some of these pilot schools like Fenway? You have to go through like an interview. Dude, you have to go through an interview. You have to go through like an audition for some of these pilot schools. They talk about creaming, but who are you really creaming? If our children and students now you got me all paranoid with the kids. Go jumping through hoops just to get into a quality high school. Every school option in the city of Boston needs to be high quality, whether it's district or charter. And we're having the wrong fight, people. This is not about one or the other. This is not about one or the other. It is about what is right. And I will be at the Charter Public School Showcase on Saturday, which is what I was here to talk about.
But you knew I was going to take you off course. You already came prepared for this.
I know.
So really quickly, where is the showcase at for
Yes.
the parents that are interested in charter schools? Because we are coming to the top of the hour and we have phone calls that I want to get to.
Okay, so the showcase is Saturday, January 23rd at Wentworth Institute at Watson Auditorium, 550 Huntington Ave. It would be an opportunity, one-stop shop to fill out enrollment forms for the 2016 lottery. So we'll have we serve grades K through 12. So go on in and get it.
And early K too. I want to say that Asaria attended. She didn't attend kindergarten. She attended pre-K before kindergarten, and she was the one that brought Anari into charter schools because of that sibling preference. But I want to go ahead and pick up. I want to acknowledge callers on 1 and 2 and say thank you for your patience. Please hold as I pull you up. Caller on line 3. Good rising. You're live.
Good rising, Taylor.
Thank you for your patience.
Hello?
Yes, thank you for your patience.
No problem. I have 4 points to put this morning. We need to have a leader. Another for us to have a leader, we need to have one that represents us. So we need to mobilize ourselves to elect somebody that's going to represent us in the State House and also the City Council, Boston City Council. That's what I meant. For you to have Carlos Enriquez, if you don't have a leader, there's no way that plane's going to come, because we need to have a leader that's going to be accountable for the union that he's trying to bring. I love his plan, but if we don't have a leader, it's not going to work.
That would be Tayla on.
Wait.
It bothers me a lot to see someone have kids they don't invest in their kids' life. It's just not a money financial investment, but you need to take care of your kids. If they don't go to a good school, their life's gonna get ruined. It's very sad for me to hear Taylor every morning talking about that, and then go to a meeting and see less than 1% of Black people in that meeting, when 90% of our kids go to Boston Public School. It really, it's like the other day, I was like, tears almost coming out of my eyes, because it really bothers me to hear that. Now I'm just like, I'm getting upset. That's what I have to say till I gotta go.
Thank you. We love you and appreciate you. Hope you have an awesome day today. 617-282-0062. To the callers on line 1 and 2, call back, baby, so I can pull you up. 617-282-0062.
And could I just say something real quick about the representation? Something else that we need to add to our list of things that we need to fight for is to demand that we have more Black and brown and teachers that reflect our culture, teaching our kids, and also that we have leaders in positions of power in our schools to make decisions that impact our children. Like BPS, we're lucky that, Dr. Chang is in the house, and Makiba, and, Ron Dorsey is really making some changes. I think that we're moving in the right direction, and that's great, but we need more. And we need our elected officials to really realize who it is that they really represent and start representing the people, not just their pockets.
So let's go ahead. Let's take callers on line 1, 2, and 3. Thank you for your patience. Please do not hang up, because your call will be answered in the order it was received. Good rising, caller. You're live.
Good rising.
Good rising. How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you?
Super fantastic.
I love you. I love you. I love what y'all are talking about, kids and power. Everybody's on the right track. You know, if the people shut down and kept their kids home, schools will go out of business. Okay, we're the ones that make it possible for the teachers to teach. My kids, I have two doctors, my two sons and my daughter. Both my sons, one's a heart doctor, one's a foot doctor, and my daughter, she's a lawyer. They've been through school, they live in Connecticut, and they're doing fantastic. My daughter actually moved to North Carolina. Reason why, when my kid has problems at school, I go to school and I'll sit in the classroom with my child and take time off of work for my child to be there to support my child.
So let me say one thing really quickly. I didn't mean to cut you off, but for those parents that are currently listening, thank you to Yancy, because Yancy put in place that every single last one of these parents are able to tell their job that I need a day off. As long as you let your job know in advance, you can take up to 3 days out of the school year for your child to attend whatever it is you need to attend for your child, up to 3 days, and your boss cannot fire you. You just have to inform them. You can't tell them today, I can't come to work because of my child. You just have to inform them. You have 3 days throughout your child's year.
That's right. You got to support your child because, you know, when your kid is sitting in the classroom, okay, other people's kids, when you react with other people's kids, they react with you different because you're a parent and they're thinking of their parents. So if a child's parent goes to the classroom and has the chance to react, then that child would see the other child a little bit different instead of seeing it and thinking of this and that. That's why I say there's a lot of people on the right track, but there's not enough support for the kids. And they need to support it. There's enough of us out here. We like the government. If we can make the government, we like the churches. Okay, God put everything in place, but if it wasn't for us, there'd be no them.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for your time. I want to go ahead and pull up these other callers because we are coming to the top of the hour. Good rising, caller, you're live. It's you, baby. Good rising. It's you, baby. Good rising.
Hi, Miss Andre.
Hey, baby. How are you? This is my little chica. She calls once in a while, and she's a student. You're 12 years old, correct?
No, I'm from Mother Caroline. You came to visit my school?
Oh, hey, baby. This is Mother Caroline, right?
Yeah.
How are you, my love? How are you?
I am very well, and you?
I am well. Talk to me.
So I think what you're talking about education is really good, and how parents have to be there and watch for their children, because I don't live with either of my parents. My mom was in the Caribbean, and my dad was in Tennessee, and neither of them are able to support me over here. And my grandparents, I live with my grandparents, and they can't come and see my games. My aunt is on at work, so she can't come and see my games. So I don't really have any support with me. So I think that parents actually have to come out and see their children and support them during school, because I don't have that opportunity. So I think it's good to see other children have the opportunity.
So this is what I would personally like for you to do. If you go ahead and email me, TaylaAndre, I'll go ahead and email your principal and have connect you to my email. If you send me your schedule, I will come and support you the best that I can. All right?
Okay.
I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I believe I told you guys that I went to Mother Caroline and I spoke to a group of young women, and they are so beautiful, so articulate. And anybody who follows me on social media, I said they are kick-ass women. And when they grow up, they are going to be powerhouses. And I love the fact, thank you for calling, my love. We have 2 other callers on the line. Good rising, caller, you're live.
Oh, that's hot.
It's you, baby. Good rising.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I just want a quick question about the charter school. What's the lowest age they'll be able to take in?
Repeat that question for me. I'm sorry.
For charter school, but I know it starts in kindergarten. Is it like K0, K1, or what age is it that they usually take in?
So you would have to be 4 by this September. I think it's K1. Okay. I'm gonna see you at the showcase, right? On Saturday.
No, because my daughter's 3, so
Oh.
Got it.
but then when I did that, I looked on the website. They said there was like, for the school I applied for, there's 100 people who applied, and there's like his bot. So I was just trying to see if there's any other options. So.
Yeah, and the good thing,
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say is that one of the things that I know we're fighting for is to increase the number of pre-K seats in Boston, so that families so children can start getting into schools a lot earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to
Sonia
Chang Diaz.
Senator Chang
Woo!
Diaz,
First Latino to hold that
even,
position
in
Massachusetts. Can I ask you a question? Actually, where are you located? Where do you live?
I live in Dorchester.
And your child, do you live in one of the affluent parts of Dorchester where your child can attend one of these better off schools?
You mean like the K0 program, or what do you mean?
Well, I know that the Henderson has a K0 slot, right? Is that if so?
In Dorchester, there's Lee Academy, which takes K0, and then there's Twin Mattapan, which is Ellison Parks and Young Achievers. So they'll take them in, but the thing is that you're basically fighting with every other parent who has a 3-year-old that wants to go into that age group. And if you don't have, just from what I read, is that if they have an IEP or some sort of a disability, they have more of a preference. And then if they have a sibling, they have more of a preference. And my daughter has neither. So the chances of her getting in, I just kept looking at it like, I don't think we're going to get in, but I'll try anyways, it can hurt.
Yeah,
this is sad.
It's sad. I tried for the Joseph Lee, the academy. I love that school. I was waitlisted forever on all of my top BPS choices. And it's really discouraging when you see the reality is like everybody's fighting for these, coveted seats in both sectors, both the charter and our district schools. That's why having a conversation around quality is really important. And good luck, and maybe next year.
Hold on. What did you say earlier about lighting candles and praying
to Dios and Allah and everybody else, Buddha, whoever it is that you believe in?
And it's crazy that these are the things that we believe we have to do, and people are like, "Oh, thank you so much, thank you God, my child got in."
You know what? And this is what really bothers me is that whole feeling lucky and blessed because your child. That is so. I find that to be really disturbing. Is that we should not have to be so grateful. I think that when it comes to social justice, all of our schools should be great schools, and we should not be fighting and competing against each other.
Well, I thank you for calling. You sound like a first-time caller. I thank you. I love you, and I appreciate you, and I hope you call again in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So what you're saying, Julia, is something that I've been saying this whole time is, you should be able to move from West Roxbury to Roxbury and obtain the same education. From Mattapan to South End and still get the same education. You should be able to move anywhere in the city. If you pay BPS, if you pay Boston city taxes, your child should be getting the best of the best, cream of the crop education. When we have every university on earth in our city that's creating millionaires, creating billionaires, creating entrepreneurs, the least we can do is give our children the best education. And the craziest thing about that is if Massachusetts is the best that we have in the country, what the hell does that say about the rest of the country?
And this is and not to get super political here, and this is why I think parent choice is so important, is that until we can get all of our schools up to par, we have to continue creating opportunities for families who don't have the resources or the means or the know-how to get out. I think that we need to lift the cap. I'm not saying recklessly and just charterize the whole entire city of Boston, because I truly and deeply believe in our district schools, but that we need to create relief and opportunities for families right now. I don't have 10 years. Like this 10-year master plan and all of this discussion happening about
kids gonna be out of school by then.
Yeah, don't call them kids, students. I'm gonna call you out on your own stuff. Is that we don't have time to wait. Right now, we need to talk about quality education and demand that from across the board. And until then, we need to keep giving families options to charter public schools. And so if you're interested in learning more, attend the showcase on Saturday, January 23rd at Wentworth Institute, Watson Auditorium, 550 Huntington Ave, from 9 to 12 will be your opportunity to learn about all the different schools that we have serving kindergarten through 12. And it's your one-stop shop, so you don't have to go to all the 23 schools.
What if I can't make it on Saturday because I have to work?
So if you can't make it on Saturday, then you should send someone who can and pick up enrollment forms, because they'll all be there. Instead of you having to go to 5 different schools, you can just go have someone pick up the enrollment forms and then just submit them. You could drop them off.
Can I contact you? Will you have some enrollment forms for me?
Yeah, but you can also check out our website at www.masscharter. Oh my Lord, I don't even know, masscharterschools.org. You can also check out our website. I'm such a bad.
You're okay. You're okay. Go ahead and figure that out. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this next caller.
Oh no, I have it here. Sorry, it's www.masscharterschools.org. That is where you should go to learn more about the showcase. And also, there's an alleged snowstorm happening on Saturday, so make sure you check out our website
For a snow date.
Yeah, on Friday. And again, it's masscharterschools.org. And the showcase is this Saturday from 9 to 12 at Watson Auditorium. One-stop shop. Free parking. And it's an opportunity for you to learn about all the different types of schools that are available in the Boston area.
Good rising caller, you're live.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, my love.
Really, really quick comment about the lack of diversity in our schools. And this is probably something that should be looked at. But they have this Massachusetts teacher educator licensure exam. And you have qualified African-American teachers that are failing this test by 1 and 2 points and are not being awarded teaching licenses. So that is part of the concern with us not having qualified minority teachers in the school system too.
Hold on. So what's this? 1 and 2 points? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so, I'm so happy you said that. Okay. So
multiple degrees, lots of experience, who could really turn this thing around and are not even being allowed to get their foot in the door because they're not passing these licensure exams by like 1 and 2 points.
Well, let me ask you a question. Don't you believe that our teachers should be able to pass the test? Because I couldn't get my real estate exam. I failed twice. The third time I passed, and I couldn't be a real estate license carrier unless I passed this test. So don't you think the test is necessary?
Yes and no. I mean, you have to understand that teachers have to go through a lot of education anyway, as it is. So it doesn't, I don't think it makes a break. I've been teaching for a while. I've seen people that come right out of college and pass all these tests because they've been taught to do so, and they have no classroom management. They don't connect with the kids. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, that test doesn't make over, especially if they're calling for diversity and minority teachers, which we desperately need. I think that there needs to be, and this test is fairly new. Other teachers that we've had over the years, they've never had to take a test.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just heard the comment about a lack in diversity, and that's part of the problem.
You know what? I'm so happy that you called to say that, because that's definitely something that needs to be addressed in terms of these culturally biases or unbiased or whatever the word is, that are creating hindrance for our schools to really employ and get teachers of color in our classrooms. So how can it be we're going to fight for more diversity, but yet who are we going to fight against?
We're going to go ahead.
That happens.
We're going to go ahead and put some systems in place so
Yes.
that even though you're fighting for diversity, you won't be able to pass this diversity test. So I feel like, based on what the caller is saying, is these teachers are taught to pass the MCAS or taught to pass the PARC, but they don't have any real life experience, sort of like our children are over here taught to pass these tests, but really don't have education.
But see, it goes back to, but you
know, and they're not connecting with our kids. And then the kids know that. They know that. They know who's there for them.
So, you know what that goes back to? That goes back to access to wealth and opportunity. So what happens is that if you don't have either, your chances of really passing that test are not to say that you can't be smart enough to do it, but I think that based on just your access to wealth and opportunity is going to make it easier for you to pass that test. So I think what we need to do is really address the root of the problem, in terms of really being able to create a real pipeline to ensure that our teachers are in our classrooms, but they also live in our neighborhood. They're not getting in their car and saying, bye-bye, Felicia. You know, that's all they do.
Yo, you guys see, I love her. I love her. Thank you so much, Carla. I love and appreciate you. I hope you have an awesome day. This is definitely a conversation that everybody wants to have because the phone lines won't stop ringing. Really quickly, Good Rising, Carla, you're live. It's you, baby. Hello, darling. Okay, he's not there anymore. Good Rising, Carla, you're live.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
My wife is a teacher on City on the Hill, and you're right. She did the college courses and worked hard to get there. And like I go to pick her up, and I listen to her and the other teachers talk and say stuff. And there is a large group of teachers who don't even live near Boston. They're commuting from Fall River, New Bedford, Peabody, all these faraway places, and they do not like our children. And I see it. I witnessed these foreign teachers come here and just bad attitude. It sucks.
So is there any type of policy, sort of like how we need more Boston police officers that actually live in Boston? Do you think that there's something that we can put in place that makes it more accessible for Boston teachers to or Boston educators to become teachers? But at the same time, aren't they about to lay off 150 teachers?
I think they're, the union is, fighting and all kind of crazy stuff. But in my opinion, as far as us parents, I would be willing to go and picket and do what I have to do, because there are a lot of men, and men need to be in the school system because young boys and young girls have to see different situations of teaching, like different styles, different backgrounds. So we really got to push to get more ethnic men in the system, because that's the bridge to helping our ethnic boys see what the real goal in life is.
So,
games and the TV shows having our children go backwards. Striving for academic excellence, like, they should. It's not a first thing to them anymore. It's secondary. They're going to finish the Call of Duty first, and then they're going to learn their multiplication. And that kind of should be the other way around. And strong teaching can help develop that.
Yeah. So when we go, Tayla's going to put all my information on her website. I'd love for you to reach out to me, because this is the sort of conversation that needs to be beyond today in terms of really getting parents and educators and community leaders on board in terms of what this education plan is going to look like for our children, and making sure that Black males and Latino males are in front of our classrooms is really important. Because when you look at the state of our education for our Black and brown boys, it is disgusting what's happening to our kids. And when they don't see themselves reflected in the classroom, that also says to them that they don't matter. And we need to do something about that in a big way. So yes, you will be picketing out with me when we establish the parent union, because that's what about Carlos was the man.
Yes.
We're going to have a parent union, and you're going to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Carla, I want to thank you. I love you and appreciate you. We are running over our time, and it is time for us to go. Julia Mejia, I love you, baby. Yes, these are the conversations. What do you say? I'm not a mentor. I'm a muse that inspires and invokes change. What is it?
I don't know. I'm a muse.
You just be making stuff up. That's all it is.
I let the spirit speak. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, the bottom line is that these are our children. These are our schools. And if we don't claim a stake in this conversation, people are making decisions that are going to impact us,
whether we're there or not.
Whether we're there or not. So it's vital for parents to recognize their power and start speaking up and claiming it. And I don't care if you're a district or a charter. For me, it doesn't really matter. What I care about is quality education. And that is what I'm deeply committed to, is making sure that families have access to the type of education that they're looking for. So if they want more charter public schools because that's the education, that's the type of environment that their children thrives in, then we have to create opportunities for that. And if they want to fight for their district schools and make sure that they have level 4 autonomies, that they're able to do turnaround status, that they're able to do whatever it takes to give our kids the type of education that they deserve. So let's go in at that too and fight for that. And we also have to create more diverse schools in and out and bottom, from top to the bottom leadership. That's the other thing. But I was here supposed to be talking about the showcase that's happening this Saturday from 9 to 12, Saturday the 23rd at Watson Auditorium at Wentworth Institute.
Free parking.
550 Huntington Ave. It's your opportunity one-stop shop to apply on the spot for all of the area charter schools serving K through 12. And yours truly will be there, so you can come and stay. Last year, there was a whole bunch of people that came from your show, Tayla, that heard me the year before. It came,
awesome, yes.
I felt like like I was a celebrity. But anyways, these are our schools. These are our children, people. Y'all need to claim it, because if not, other people are going to, and you're not just a tax write-off,
Listen, we ain't welfare cheese. I want to give a huge shout out to Carlos Enriquez. Huge shout out to Takwa. Takwa said a Parent Political Action Committee, a PPAC. I think we got the name, y'all. A PPAC, a Parent Political Action Committee would be amazing. So, hey, let's take those steps necessary. $1 a month per parent.
Yes.
I think that's doable.
Yes. And so I just want to say really quick, one last thing is that we created a statewide parent leadership network, and it's called what's it called? It's called the Collaborative Parent Leadership Action Network.
C-Plan.
C-Plan, and it's composed of district and charter parents. And the only thing that we care about is children and the education that our children receive in our schools.
And if you live in Boston, you should get the same education as if we were in Boxford. If you live in Boston, we should get the same education. What are some other Mecco? Where are we busting our babies
Newton,
out to?
Wellesley, Wayland. No, I don't know Wellesley, but I know Wayland, Newton. Like I know Lisa was on the wait list for MECO, but I got into a charter public school because I didn't get any of my top tier BPS schools, right? So there's options, and that's what parents need is options. And you can't fight a parent when the parent knows what's best for
I
their
know
child.
that's right. Mama Bear going all the way in. But thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. If you missed any of today's conversation, head over to YouTube. Shout out to my YouTube watchers, as well as mixcloud.com, TaylaAndre. All of Julia Mejia's information will be on Wake Up with Tayla Andre. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Mwah! Big City.
Sus One, the feature presentation. Listen, make sure you wake up with Tayla Andre Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Big City 101.3 FM. Wake up with the Radio Rebel. Politics, news, conspiracies. Wake up your third eye
take
with
this,
unorthodox
'cause he's been calling.
conversations leading to universal consciousness. This is the type of stuff I'm into, all right? Make sure you tune in. Let's go.
Sure.
The champ is here.
Taylor.
Hello, good rising.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. This is my first time listening and calling in. Somebody has told me about the show, and there's a lawyer that came on about event and landlord. You don't mind if you could give me the number for him, please?
Yes, the lawyer. His name is Danny Osina.
Danny. Okay.
Danny Osina's number is, hold on one moment.
Okay.
781
81
629
629
5147.
5147.
5147, yep.
5147. And you had a great show this morning about the student. I was listening.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Okay, great.
I hope Danny's able to help you, and I thank you for calling.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
I forgot I had-
Hello, good rising.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Well, how are you?
Good. I heard you guys. I just missed your little intro there of talking about the charter school. Did I miss anything important? Because I just turned the radio on.
Yes, you did. So there is a showcase on Saturday.
Yes.
At the Wentworth College, right?
Yeah, at Wentworth Institute, it's from 9 to 12.
Okay.
And it's your one-stop shop to apply for all the area charter schools, K through 12. So.
Okay, all right. That's what I wanted to find out. Because I was going to call the Wentworth Institute this morning, as a matter of fact, to find out what the time was.
Yes, it's from 9 to 12. Okay. And spread the word and let everybody know it's going to be easy. You just go in, apply, leave your applications there, and the lottery is in March.
Okay, right. Okay. That's what I want to know. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
Okay,
You as
too.
well. Love and
Okay.
appreciate you, baby.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You did not forget about my baby. You just got so caught up.
Oh, shit. I was like, I got to take out of this.
YouTube, I love and appreciate you. I hope you guys have an awesome day today. Big City 101.3 FM. Waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. If you missed any of, you didn't miss any of today's show because you're watching it. But I thank you for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. Julia Mejia, she's not going to come on camera.
No.
So.
No, I'm get my kid ready for school.
Can I have a hug?
Yeah, come on. Don't put me on camera.